Hi, I'm Kathy Mills from Short Film Edits, and I'm here with Jake Crossman for an interview today. How are you?
Hey, Kathy, I'm so good. Thanks for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
Anytime. Could we start this with you telling us a little bit about you?
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, I've been in the performing arts kind of my whole life. When I was a kid, I grew up doing theater. My first play when I was in fourth grade, and I just fell in love with the stage and performing. Kind of grew up doing that. And then when I got to college, I switched on the other side of the camera. I learned how to write, produce, direct, and ended up working for ESPN and Fox Sports for a little while. After kind of a career with them, COVID hit. And I kind of decided to step away from that side of the camera and I started a business. I started selling vitamins, supplements online and doing TikTok. TikTok was fantastic for me, and we did a lot of a lot of great things with that channel. That kind of got me back into, well, I like performing and being on camera, and I ended up doing a short film in June of last year, and that led me into kind of getting back into auditioning and trying to get back on camera, and then finding verticals in about October of last year and truly falling in love with the platform, the medium, the storytelling, and kind of just been all in doing this ever since.
Oh, that's great. I love that. Okay, so you trained in classical theatre, as you just said. How do these stage experiences still inform the way you approach camera work today?
You know, verticals and theater are so similar in a lot of ways.
Mm.
And I recommend, anyone that has asked me about getting into verticals or starting, I think live theater is such a great place to start because you have to learn how to overact for theater, to be on stage, for people to see your reactions. You have to overreact, whereas typical, classically trained screen actors, amazing actors, they're very reserved and their eyes tell the story. And that's amazing for standard mediums, but for verticals, they want a lot more. So I think theater has been an incredible background for me and for anybody that can start doing verticals because of the nature of what theater is and how similar it is to what the directors and the clients want for verticals.
Yeah, of course, because there's a lot of theatrical things in in verticals that
Fascinating.
yeah, definitely. Okay. You were an actor, director, producer, and editor on Ice Cream Tears. What was the hardest part of balancing the creative decisions?
That's a great question. Ice Cream Tears was a project that kind of got me back into storytelling and really the industry as a whole. I had, like I said, walked away for a little bit, ran a business. I was really doing management consulting full time at that point. And it was that short film that I was in that kind of rebit the bug of acting in me. And I thought, okay, what's the best way to get back into this? How can I showcase myself as someone who's more, because I had done Fox Sports, I had done ESPN, I had produced, I had directed, I had done so many different things, but I didn't have like a package of like, this is who I am, this is what I do. So Ice Cream Tears was kind of a project for me that I really wanted to showcase. Look, I am a multifaceted storyteller. I love the writing process. I love the editing process. Every single step of the way, I really enjoy the storytelling within it. And I really find it like fun and special to separate those moments and really like, okay, the writing process is one thing, and then the, pre-production process is one thing, and then the directing process is one thing, and then the editing process is one thing. And kind of separating those all out, it allowed me to literally wear different hats and think about it in kind of a specific, light in a specific way, and be able to kind of tell that story fully from my perspective, but from different, different hats, I guess, within it. So that project was such a just a comeback project. Like, let's just make something. Me and my directing partner, Nehemiah Jordan, we just wanted to make something that was, interesting and slice of life and could compete at a festival level, just to show that we like story and we know we're doing the story and we want to showcase like, look, this is what we got. Let's go from there. So that was before I even found verticals, and I
Yeah.
really didn't even know about verticals when I made that. That was kind of my project to get back into horizontals,
Mm.
and it's going well. It just premiered in Brighton, New Jersey, literally on Sunday of this last week. So we had
Cool.
great premiere and really nice to have that happen. But yeah, it was kind of my pre-vertical
Mm.
project, and then since finding verticals, it's been great to kind of move over and kind of experience this new medium, having come from that full
Yeah.
storytelling background.
Yeah. Yeah. What was the most challenging part of that project?
Honestly, it was the speed. And it's funny that it kind of connects with verticals because verticals are such a high intensity, high speed medium. I think the one thing Hollywood can learn from us is that we work fast. I know that there is a lot of different opinions on verticals and the way we do things, but we're shooting minimum 15 pages in a day, which in Hollywood is like, what are you talking about? How is
Wouldn't
that?
happen. Yeah.
And it's possible because we have incredible talent. I mean, the people who are leads on verticals are just very special people because they can take in so much information and somehow get it out. Again, 14 to 20 pages in a day. It's unbelievable. And then the teams we work with are just, I mean, professionals. I think there's kind of this thought that vertical teams are not at the standard of Hollywood. I think they're beyond the standard of Hollywood in a lot of ways because of the speed, the professionalism, and just, I mean, how much everyone cares about the project. So, Ice Cream Tears was a very fast turnaround. We did it I wrote it on a Saturday. We shot it on a Wednesday. It
Oh,
was like a 4 day, but it was because me and Nehemiah had written a full feature. We wanted to shoot that. We're like, let's do a short. So then we wrote a short that was a slice of that feature. And then we were like, we want something now. We really wanted the goal was Sundance this year. So we submitted, the deadline was in September. We didn't get Sundance, but we kind of knew we wouldn't. We just wanted that deadline to kind of get us going. And so we ended up just shooting really fast. And that was it was a fun kind of pre-vertical workflow of learning speed and working with people at speed. So yeah, I would say the speed of it was the hardest thing, but it really kind of set the tone for, the rest of my career, in the vertical space.
yeah. And you sound so dedicated about that project, and that's important. Like you have to
I
be
really love Ice Cream
really
Tears. It's a
dedicated.
fun story, and I'm looking forward to, we've won a couple of awards, and I'm looking forward to being able to showcase that
Mm,
once we are finished with the festival circuit, showcase kind of what we did with that.
yeah, can't wait. Okay, your early work included live broadcast, which we spoke about.
Yeah.
You even did a telecast for the Super Bowl. What
Yeah.
lessons from live sport production unexpectedly translated into narrative filmmaking?
That's a fantastic question. I think there's so many lessons in broadcast that do translate. Broadcast television is thought of as just kind of the game, right? It's like, what's happening? What's the basketball game, the football game, whatever. But there's so much storytelling that happens beforehand and then during the game. One of my first roles was a graphics producer. So for ESPN, they'd hand me a book about this thick before the game with just all the notes, just every note on every player, everything you could possibly have a note on, all the data we have. I'd get this book and I'd go through it and I'd come up with storylines. Okay, if Duke is down by 12 points at the half, they usually have a halftime adjustment and can end up winning, and whatever. And kind of these storylines we'd find, we'd build graphics for all kinds of storylines. Okay, if this guy scores 7 points, that's his 1,000th point of his career. Let's have that graphic ready. If this person does X, let's have Y ready. And we kind of just build all these stories just in case they happen. So a
Yeah.
lot of the pre-production in broadcast is the storytelling, and they don't end up coming to fruition a lot of times because we're kind of waiting for it to happen in the game. But there's so much storytelling that happens, and it really does translate because what you're trying to do is show the audience, look, these are real people. It's not just the game. It's the story of what's happening behind the game. So I think broadcast is a fantastic medium to be involved in. It's so fast paced. It's live. You can't, if you mess up, you're live, keep going,
Mm,
and you'd be shocked how many mistakes are made on every broadcast, but we keep going and we try not to talk about them and keep it happening. So broadcast just like theater is a fantastic way to train for verticals, broadcast is a great way to train for any other storytelling medium.
so do everything live. Is what
Yeah,
you're saying.
yeah, yeah. Live.
Do
I'm a
everything
big
live.
fan of live. I think live's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, love that. Okay, what's something you learned behind the camera that has made you a better actor?
I think every actor should spend time behind the camera, whether it's
Mm,
PAing, second, third ADing, any opportunity to be on the other side. Because one thing that I think I forget is that, or at least I had historically forgotten, is that everybody wants this to be the best project you can possibly be. Everybody, right? And as talent, sometimes you get in your own head of like, well, I'm trying to make this my own and figure out, ways to do this that are better and different and unique. And it's like, yeah, so is everybody. We're all trying to do that, right? So sometimes it's you kind of get selfish in like, well, I'm trying to do these things. And it's like, well, yeah, everybody else is trying to do these things as well. So once you experience the other side of things and understand like, okay, this is what it takes to make the day as an AD. This is what it takes to pay for the day as a line producer. This is what it takes to shoot the shot as a camera operator or literally pull focus as an AC. It's like there are so many things that are happening. The talent, we have the easy job. We show up, say our lines, hit our mark, and everybody else makes it happen for us. So being on the other side of the camera is probably the best thing you can do to understand kind of the flow of the whole production. And then really, again, have the sincerity to understand everybody here wants to do the best thing possible. And as long as we all understand that and believe that, we can work together creatively and find the best project possible.
Yeah, I mean, I always say that you don't need to know exactly how to do everything that the crew does, but you need to be able to understand what they
Yeah.
do. And it just makes the whole day go better. Like maybe you could sit there and go, I didn't understand what they were doing, but now I do, so I get it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
it,
absolutely.
it isn't just as black as white as you see it. There's a lot
Yeah.
more, and they don't stop. As a talent, you get to stop for a while. They keep
Right.
going.
Right.
So,
It's incredible. Again, vertical specifically, the
mm,
speed and the intensity of these crews. I mean, the DPs and the camera crews and the G&E crews, it's just like I'm just blown away by how much they work. And a lot of these, most of these are non-union. So it's like
yeah.
they're working hard hours, they're working with tight turnarounds, and they get the days done. And it's like, I mean, again, I am not the talent. They are the talent. I just show up
Mm,
and say. So it's
yeah,
incredible to be able to work with people like that.
absolutely. You can learn a lot from them. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. All right. You've built a large following on TikTok. Did you ever expect social media to become a big part of your career?
Oh, the TikTok is such an interesting thing because it was originally built for the brand USA Medical. That's my company. That's what we sold: magnesium, ashwagandha, non-THC, CBD, those kinds of things. And that I started it kind of before there was this health influencer type. There was a couple people on Twitter back in the day and maybe YouTube that were doing health content, but there weren't really like health influencers in the way that we have them now. So I started to just like read research papers, talk about health, kind of explain my perspective on things, and it blew up in a way that I like could never have expected. Truly never could have expected. And ran that for about 3 years. Obviously now I'm transitioning into being more of an actor and that being my daily life content and trying to showcase that more on TikTok now. But yeah, I just have this like kind of giant background of health content that, it was again storytelling and it was trying to learn how to do TikTok and really innovate hooks and retention and rewards. There's this whole formula that I would use, to hook somebody and to retain them, to reward them, and then to get them to come back. And it's actually the
Mm,
same exact format that TikTok, that verticals use in their kind of episodic format, where you got to hook
yeah.
somebody at the start, retain them with some drama, reward them for whatever the hook was, and then button it with some new drama. So like it's
Mm,
funny how this medium of TikTok that I got to kind of experience years ago is kind of being rebranded into this vertical medium. So I have a lot of experience with this style storytelling, and the
mm.
TikTok is its own thing, and it's yeah, it blew up more than I could ever have expected, but it's been an invaluable resource for me to learn and to grow and to understand again story from all kinds of different angles.
Yeah, and very helpful for everybody. I had a look at it and you've got some really good content on there that's very helpful for people.
That's kind of you to say. I appreciate you saying that.
That's okay. Okay. If you could ever create your dream project, what would it be?
I mean, I have so many dreams. I'm a,
Hmm.
creative, crazy person, and I want to do all kinds of things. I adore comedy, and I think there's no comedy right now in the vertical space. It's obviously very drama heavy, which is great. Everyone loves it, and I think the data shows, especially on these major apps, Real Short, Drama Box, the data shows that drama is what sells, and that's what we're making. But I could see a really fun comedy series, and I think there's an audience for it. There's already such a major audience. I think one of the shows just hit 1 billion views on one of the platforms, and it's just like, okay, 1 billion people are watching this. A certain number of them have to enjoy comedy or other formats. So I'd like to see more innovation with just the genre of verticals. But I think right now I'm seeing the desire for different genres, and I'd love to be able to innovate with that, with these incredible clients and the companies we're all working with.
Yeah, I mean, I know that you can see like little tiny ounces of like comedy put into some
Yeah,
of these, but
right.
just like a full-blown comedy. I really want to see a good sci-fi. I really
Ooh.
want to see good sci-fi.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many genres that people already like on TV, and this is
Mm,
a brand new medium. We're just getting. I mean, this is what 5 years ago it didn't exist, right? So
hmm
it's such a brand new medium. There is going to be so much longevity to bring the genres in and find different ways to storytell within the vertical space. But yeah, I think there is. It's just a great time to be in it because people are looking for innovation and people want innovation, especially the clients and the producers and the companies. They want to sell more to more people, so it's a good time to be in it and have these creative conversations with everybody.
Yes, I'm slowly seeing like more different types of storylines come into play, like, just little bits by little bits, but the drama is still they're
Driving
trying to, yeah.
number one, people love it, and I get it. It's fun, and it's the drama is what it's. They're obviously soap operas. They are
Mm.
novellas. They're bringing people together to watch this thing and the hyper intensity of the drama and get to the next episode. So I get what it is, but and I don't want to change that because again, the
No.
shows that it works fantastic.
Yeah.
But I think there is more innovation to be had within that specific type of storytelling medium.
Yeah, and I agree, comedy, there is so much out there for comedy. Like
Yeah,
people love it. Like
yeah,
a lot of people that I speak to say they want to see comedy next. So if
yes,
people are there, they want to do it. So
yeah,
let's
absolutely
hope
agree.
it comes soon.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the biggest turning point in your career so far?
I've had so many turning points in my career. I've been all over the
hmm
place. I think one of the best things that any young actor can do is live life and just go get
mm
jobs, do things. I think it was your Yorgos Lanthimos, who said, if you can go out and just be like, work as a stable boy, work as a chef, work as a whatever, get a real job, meet real people, experience life in a real way. That's some of the best acting experience you can have because pulling characters from real life is kind of all I do. I don't know how to not do that. It's the lived experience that allows me to create characters. So I think, the turning points in my life that have been big for me have been kind of the theater into the production side of things, the production into the social media side of things, and then social media back into screen acting. Those have kind of been major turns along the way. And then, like I said, I did do consulting for a while, business consulting after USA Medical. So working with real businesses, trying to literally generate more money and make more people, successful. That was an interesting experience as well because I'm like playing the part of this, consultant and trying to actually listen and help people. And listening was such a big part of that job. Listening is the biggest part of acting. So I think, all of these life experiences come together to then help me create characters and be the best actor I could possibly be.
I think listening is the biggest part of anything, to be
Yeah.
honest. Yeah.
Yeah. No doubt about it.
Yeah. What's something that you need for film that theatre could never have taught you?
Ooh, that's a great question. I think the thing with screen acting is it's so like specific when it comes to like your mark and where you need to cheat to make sure you're on camera
Mm.
and all these little things that could not matter any less than the stage. The stage is the stage and you are just there living in it. Whereas screen acting, there's such a technical element to it that I'm lucky that I got to really start really doing background and then a lot of day player roles that I could experience. Okay, what is this technical medium that I don't have yet in a very quick and kind of again, verticals are very fast. So, trying to get used to that. I was lucky to start in the background and start with day player roles because it allowed me to kind of experience this and get the technicals down without too much pressure of like, okay, I have 30 lines to learn as well. So I think that just the technicalness of where you need to stand, how you need to turn, even like if we're shooting outside and there's traffic, like now you got to project more, you got to kind of say things a little bit louder, even though we have mics on, it's a little bit louder, or there's always the cheating angles and trying to make sure that we're right at the camera and doing things correctly. So there's a lot of just technicals to learn that I don't think theater could ever prepare you for.
Yeah, like adapting to every environment. That was, yeah. Yeah. Oh, cool. All right. How do you evaluate material in an industry that's increasingly driven by metrics and algorithms?
Mm. So I think data has been a big part of my life when it comes to business and consulting. Data doesn't really lie. Data shows what people are watching and experiencing and liking and sharing and talking about. So I have a very high value of data, and I do believe that doing things that people want is good. Like I think sometimes there's this belief that, we should always be innovating and always be changing. And it's like, well, sometimes we got it. You don't got to reinvent the wheel every day. We have the wheel. It's great. So I think one of the things when it comes to the evaluation process of these stories is, does it hit the marks of what we already know works? Does it hit the marks of what we think will, play to an audience? And then, I think there are some projects that push the boundaries just to push the boundaries or just try to create shock value. I'm not interested in those projects as much because we already know what works, and the data doesn't actually show that people want shock value. Like it shows that people want good stories and good characters and development and growth, and so I think going by the data actually does help show, like, no, everyone wants good heartfelt stories. And again, verticals are high intensity and crazy and drama based, and that's fine, and we can work within that. But I think the evaluation process is more just, does this all line up with what we already know works? Does it line up with my own moral compass? And are we all happy to be doing this? And I think there's been a lot of stories, especially, I am not old in the vertical space. I think there are older people, people have been doing it longer than me, and older productions that may have had tumultuous times and stories. But in my experience, the sets I've been on have been very safe. They've always had intimacy coordinators, always had stunt coordinators. Everyone is asked about, making sure they're safe and comfortable. There's always water and food and snacks. So I think in my experience, it's just been about, doing it the best we can, keeping it safe, keeping everyone happy and healthy, and, not just shocking and doing crazy things for the sake of it.
Yeah. I mean, I've had many different experiences
Yeah.
with while talking to people. I think it all depends on where you are at that time and like, yeah. So there are different experiences, but I think the key thing is for everybody to have a conversation and set boundaries within themselves, no matter what's happening outside of that.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
especially for the main leads, yeah,
Absolutely. You got to be comfortable with what you're doing. And again, like I don't know other people's experiences. I only know my experience. But and from what I've seen, it's been nice to see that people are very taken care of. And I think that with the growth of this medium, there are more eyeballs on it and there's more people asking about it.
yeah.
And it has to improve. It has to get better. So I'm sure a year, 2 years ago, there were less safe things happening.
Mm.
But now there are a lot of safety precautions in place to make sure everyone is taken care of and feeling their best.
Yeah, absolutely. There's one thing that I wish that would happen in every set is there has to be an intimacy coordinator on every set. That is
Okay,
like, it has to. I
totally.
think that's very, very important. But
Absolutely agree.
yeah. Okay. What kind of collaborators bring out your best work?
Man, I mean, so many of these actors, again, the fact that these leads can handle so many pages in a day, it part of that is just they're fantastic improvisers and they can just feel the scene, they can just listen like we talked about. I think working with other improvisational actors is the most fun for me because we can just kind of play with it a little bit. And I think there's this idea that verticals are very rigid. They are in the sense that we have to get it done, but
Yeah.
if we get it done and we get it done right the first time, we usually have a couple more takes to play with it. And I've worked with incredible directors. I just worked with Corey Gibbons. He's one of my favorite directors I've ever worked with so far. He's just such a badass. He loves to like let people experience and play and find the story. Every director I've worked with is amazing. I could name every single one. But the fact of the matter is like there is this desire to create and to let people play. So even though we have very tight schedules and we rely on our amazing ADs to do that, we do have some freedom to play and improvise as long as we're getting the actual takes correct first. So again, I think the difference between us and Hollywood is Hollywood likes to do it until they get it right. We have
Mm.
to get it right on the first take, and then
Yeah.
we can play with it, right? If we don't get it right, we have to get it right, and now we don't get to play with
Mm.
it because we have to move on to the next scene. But if we can come in prepared, which again, the leads, I don't know how they do it, but they do it every time. They come in prepared and they get the lines. If that happens, then we get to play and experience and improv and find more, I think, comedy. And that's where you see these beats of
Mm.
comedy and you see these beats of, the actors really settling in and enjoying the moment. Once they have gotten it right, we know we got it right. Let's move on and just kind of have some fun with it.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard from a few people where they're just like the director's like, yes, do what we need. And
Yeah.
then if you like, because like the leads will be like, oh, I want to try and mix it up a little bit and do
Yeah.
something different. And they're just like, okay, well, we'll get the original one
Yeah.
and then we'll play and see which one's the best one to go with.
Absolutely. Yeah, if you get it right, if you can do it, if you can do what the client wants. If the client
Mm.
has a goal, get what they want. Don't,
Yeah.
let's just get it. But then once they're happy, especially if they're on set, well, great. Now we can
Mm.
play with it. And a lot of times, we'll do something and I'll hear a director or someone laughing during a little fun improv. And it's like, well, this is great. If they're laughing and they're having fun,
Mhm.
then we're finding something new here. So yeah, as long as you get it, we have the freedom to experiment.
Yeah, and something that you came up with could be something they couldn't have even imagined, and it just elevates everything.
Absolutely. When you're living in that scene, when you're living those characters, you definitely find things that, a writer, may have thought through or may have felt, but didn't quite get on
Mm.
the page. And like we can just feel that out being in the scene. And when there is that room for collaboration, it really becomes magic.
Yeah, and it's also very different from seeing something on paper to actually acting it out.
Yeah.
There's just some things that you just can't imagine unless you're actually in it.
100%. And even the time and if there was last night I was working with Gabe and Zach and there was this moment
Mhm.
where Gabe had to light a cigarette and it just kind of was a long beat. It was a longer beat. So it's like, let's just throw in some lines, start talking and figure out,
Mm.
not written, let's just talk what's happening. And we kind of find some comedy and some fun, just in that moment because we're there and we're living in it. So I think again,
Mm.
listening is such a big part of
Yeah,
finding those creative moments.
absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Are there genres or formats you believe are currently undervalued?
Generally speaking, in like the whole industry,
Yep, let's go the whole industry.
I mean, I think, again, coming from theater, coming from live, I think it'd be great to see more people go and see theater, go experience it. I'm doing
Mhm.
a play right now, Proof, written by David Auburn, fantastic play. I still like to stay involved in the theater and be involved in live productions. I think, live is not going anywhere with the rise of AI. AI is not coming for live productions, right? AI is not
Mm.
for theater, it's not coming for opera, it's not coming for anything that's happening on a stage. So the more we
Yeah.
can support, creativity and artists and art generally in a live format, I think I've said live 1,000 times on this podcast today, but the more we can support live formats, I think that's kind of how we can. I don't think we need. I mean, I don't want to get into the AI thing, but that's how we can
Mm.
combat the rise of AI is by supporting live mediums. AI will never be able to do what we can do in a live format.
I agree. And I personally love theatre. I love watching theatre. And
Yeah.
I love film as well. You get completely different experiences from both. But I have to admit, nothing beats sitting in the audience and just watching a live show.
My gosh, I know.
It's so good. The only thing that I don't like about it is you can't just go back and rewatch it without paying again. Like
That's,
it's just,
but isn't that part of the magic? It's like, oh man, I can't. You can't. It's like taking a picture of the moon. It's like, well, it doesn't work. It's like I had to be there,
mm,
experience the moon to see it, and the picture sucks, right? It's
yeah.
like I think I was 13 when my mom took me to New York for the first time, and we went and saw Wicked on Broadway with the original cast, Idina, Christian, and I mean, I was just like. Like just
Mhm,
blown away and that like it completely that changed my life watching that live on Broadway because it was like
mhm.
I still remember how I felt and I still remember the energy we had incredible she got us incredible seats and it was just like I was there and again there's never been a movie that has given me the same feelings as that live whatever 50 plus piece orchestra and live acting it's just spectacular so yeah live is I'll say live 20 more times before we're done today, but live is great.
I do believe a good seat makes a huge difference in
Yeah,
theatre. I've
yeah.
also seen Wicked, but I want to go back and watch it again because unfortunately the seats I got weren't the best and it like cut off part of the stage and I'm just like, no. But I went and saw Beauty and the Beast and I was
How
like
was it?
right at the front and it
Yeah.
was just I cried at the end of it because it was just so like right there and it was just magic.
I definitely cried at the end of Wicked. It's just when
Hmm.
you're right there and it's just like you are in it. It's like
Yeah.
again, no way a theater can give you that feeling of being with the cast. It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. And I think different experiences from being on film where you're just like with a camera and the crew. And I mean, you get your own experiences from that, of course, but theater, there's
Yeah.
so many other people. You're building like energy off the audience as well. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
how do you soak that in differently from theater to film?
I was just thinking the other day, I was working with Nate Flores and Natalie Collins on this project, and they are incredible leads. They're just spectacular. But we had this scene together, and they got their part done, and it was time for my coverage, but they had to get into hair and makeup for the next scene. So I'm acting with tennis balls. I mean, they're not. There's nobody there, but it's like I still have to give it as if they're there. So I think
Mm,
the stage, there's always someone there, you're live, it's happening. Whereas screen acting, sometimes it's like, all right, here we go. I'm looking at nobody. But it's that's again part of the, like I said earlier, the technical aspect of screen acting where it's like, hey, we have to make the day. They need to change their entire wardrobe and hair for the next scene. They can't, they're the number one and two in the call sheet. They can't sit here with me and do this scene. They have to move on. So learning that aspect of it too is really important. Of like, look, sometimes you got to just act. You got to just pretend like they're there and they're not.
mm,
You do the scene. So it's learning. I mean, I learn every day I'm on set. I've never stopped learning. Literally every time I'm on set, I learn something new because it's just there's so much to learn. And if you kind of go in with that, mantra of I'm a student today, I'm here to learn. There is so much you can absorb and grow from every single time.
I know that film doesn't get many like rehearsals beforehand. How beneficial is it to have rehearsals in like theater than it is to film?
It's again such a different medium, whereas theater, you're just the whole project is what's in your mind.
Mm,
The whole thing from start to finish you're thinking about and whatever. Whereas with verticals or screen acting in general, you shoot so out of order sometimes. And sometimes I don't have time to read the whole script before we go into it. I'm doing two different productions right now, supporting characters, some kind of back and forth, and it's like I'm reading the sides today, and I know what's happening today. And like last week, we shot the ending of the vertical first. So it's like I don't even know. I haven't read the script yet. I gotta kind of figure this out and experience and try to build this character quickly
yeah.
for this, because it's the big ending. Everyone, so it's like it
Mm,
has to be something. So I think the rehearsals of theater gives you the whole thing, whereas screen acting, you got to kind of just identify. For me, I identify a trait of this character. Who are they? Where are they coming from? Why are we here? And kind of just try my best to live present and listen and be in that scene. And take the, I
mm,
mean, take the notes of the directors. The directors are our safety nets. They are the people that have read the script and know the whole story and know what we're doing. And I trust them implicitly. Whatever note a director gives me, sure. I'm not here to argue or fight, or I'm not trying to, find something. We have to make the day. It's a very tight day. So whatever they want, I'm happy to do it. And they know what they want. And again, these are incredible directors to be working in this medium. So I just trust, and trust, I guess, is the biggest thing here too, is as well. I just trust my team and the people who are involved that they want to make the best project. They're not trying to make any of us look bad. They want us to all look good and do well. So trust, listening, that's all you can do.
exactly. What do you find more beneficial, like the technical notes from directors or the more emotional ones?
It's interesting how much I think the directors give the freedom to find your own emotion and find, especially this happens in the casting process where I think the auditions are what inform the character more than anything. And they're, the clients, the producers, they're looking for people who just fit the character. And, a lot of times for me, when I was first starting, it's like, okay, I get the audition, I get the role. It's like, okay, what do you want me to change for the role? And they're like, nothing. You did the audition. That's
Mm,
what you want. Do that. It's like, oh,
mm,
great. So I had all this pressure and stress to like, okay, I got to find this character and figure out who this is. And they're like, no, you already did that. That's why we hired you.
mm,
Do what you did. So there's kind of a relinquishing of stress where it's like, I don't got to do anything. They hired me. They liked
Mm.
whatever I did, whatever I found. And I do like to go back and watch my tapes if I get a role to be, okay, what did I do in that tape? Why did they like it? And a lot of times the tapes that get me roles, I'm just like me. I'm very kind of grounded in myself. And I found a trait that I could connect with and it just works. So, I think
Yeah.
that trusting the audition process and if you got hired, you're there. So I don't get a whole lot of emotional notes from directors because we all just trust that we're doing the thing together. It really is
Yeah.
more the technical notes of just look here, do this, make this happen, than anything.
Yeah. Okay, so what do you think makes a scene unforgettable?
Oh, I mean, the drama. No, I mean, I think again, like I said earlier, when you get the scene right, when you can get it done, then you have the freedom to experiment. That's when like actors, I think, really settle in and start to experience the scene from within and find these moments that, may not have been written or scripted. And I don't know what it is, but when I'm watching verticals or any storytelling medium, you can just feel when they're in it. You can feel when the actors aren't reading lines, when they're doing it. I was never a huge The Office watcher, but I think there's so many moments in The Office that you can just feel the tone shift from like they're doing lines to they're having fun. And when they're having fun, it's just hard to stop watching. You can feel the crew laughing and you can feel them enjoying it. And I think those moments of really settling in and experiencing the story as an actor is what creates that magic on camera.
I'm a big believer of that too. Like when I'm watching something, I can like tell when they're like really passionate about this or whether they're just like, okay, this is the line I have to say. And it
Exactly.
really does show on screen. Like it really does. And
100%.
obviously, you're not going to be able to connect with every single performance. I
Right.
mean, we're only human. You can't do that, but you can tell. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. What kind of work would signal to you that you've reached a new level in your craft?
I mean, I definitely want to book a lead. I think that's
Mm,
the goal. That I mean, I am very lucky that I am now booking supporting characters. That is a very special jump from the day player. I really took kind of the standard path, and I recommend people take this path of I started
mm,
doing the background work just to experience being on set, what this is. I mean, I got to learn a lot about the vertical workflow from the background where there's not a lot of pressure, and background is still a hard day in a lot of ways. You still have to get there early, stay late. You're usually in a different holding. You're last to eat. It's still hard to be a background. It's not like an easy day, but being there is how you get to learn and grow. And then hopefully you start booking those day player roles where you have one, two, three, maybe four lines. And that's when you can start to feel, okay, this is how I get mic'd up. This is how we do makeup. This is how we do wardrobe and start feeling those moments out. And then eventually, if you can keep doing that, hopefully you book that supporting role, and now you're higher on the call sheet. You're really experiencing the thing as a whole. You're really part of the whole story. And again, I think just the next level is then being a leading actor and being able to handle those days. I mean, I haven't done it yet, so it's like I don't know what that's like to get handed 20 pages of sides in a day and have to do it. But that would definitely signal the next step in my career is if I can book one of those.
yeah, I think starting from that also makes you appreciate the entire set more as well. You can
No doubt.
appreciate every detail of it.
Absolutely agree. And like I said, I've done other side of the camera as well. I've done a lot of different
Mm,
production roles. So, experiencing as much as you can. There's so much work. People are like, there's no work. There's so much work. And like
yeah.
there's a lot of work people don't want to do. No doubt
Mm,
about it. Being a PA is hard. Like it's
yeah.
not glamorous. It is not easy. There's very little thanks to being a PA, but PAs make the days happen. They are
Yeah.
the reason that we get. Look, if talent is sweating, I run hot. When I'm sweating and I need water, the PA is the one to go grab it for me. And like
Yeah.
God bless their soul because I can't leave set. We're doing a scene. I can't leave. So thank God they're
Mm,
there to get me a bottle of water. And I know that sounds so minute, but if they didn't get me that water, I would be dying and sweating, and then makeup would have to stop the scene and redab my face. And it's because of this team and because of everyone involved that we get to again make these days. So if you can just be involved in any way, whether again, background is a great place to start, PAing, great place to start. If there's an opportunity and an opening and you want to be involved, like take it, do it. There is no bad role. Everyone is so integral to the team that I think the more we can just all work together, the better, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I've been told that some crew members are very unappreciated on set, so for certain things. But as I was saying to the last person I spoke to, they're probably the most important person on set because
Yes.
without them, you wouldn't be able to do all of that.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah, no doubt. There is nobody who is unimportant on set. I think it's easy to feel underappreciated, especially as again the lower on the call sheet background or production assistants or those roles. It's easy to feel underappreciated, but I try my best to take time and introduce myself and say, I'm so happy you're here, and I tell people how great they are as much as I can because again, the makeup assistant who is dabbing my face in between takes, like without you, I would look like crap on camera.
mm,
So thank you. Everyone is so integral, and it's just like I'm again. I know that I'm not the talent. I know they are the talent, and I think a lot of us feel the same way in the vertical spaces, especially. We know what it takes to make it, and if you're a
mm,
regular vertical actor, you are very aware of how hard it is to be anybody on that crew. So yeah, I'm just very, very appreciative to everybody that works on these things.
absolutely. Especially the longer sets too that can go on for like 12 days or something like it's
Yes.
hard for everyone.
Oh my gosh, and they
Mm.
get maybe 1 or 2 days off in between. And
Mm.
these are 12-hour, 14-hour days with 12-hour turnarounds. I mean, it's tough. It's tough. But you get to create incredible stories and we get
Yeah,
millions of people that watch and love them. So it all is worth it in the end.
absolutely. Yes. Okay. Is there anything you want anyone to know about you or your work?
I just love story. I love
Mhm.
storytelling. I love writing stories, creating stories. I think anytime I get to be involved in a story, no matter what that angle is, whether it's from the writing process or as an actor or as a producer, I think just that I'm such a student of Dan Harmon, his story circle. If you don't know, he basically created the story circle of how all stories should be told. And I just go back to it on everything. Every good story, every good vertical, everything follows this format. And like, it's just, I love story theory. So anytime I can be involved and give my 2 cents and talk about story, so many actors have great ideas for an act one. And I like love that. And I love being able to like think about then the act two and the act three. Because, act one is the fun part. What are we doing here? Who are these people? Whatever. And then what happens next? That becomes a little bit more technical, lost in the weeds. But the story circle and understanding story theory, I think, is what allows me to then kind of figure out where are we going with this and what is this? Why are we making it? So
Mm.
I don't know. I can say it 1,000 times. I just love story.
Yep. It's important. So, storyline is massive for me. Like, you
100%.
can watch anything, but if it's got a good storyline, I'm in.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah. Okay. I've got two more questions. What's your funniest moment on set?
Phew, funniest moment on set. There's been a few. I did this project recently. I'm always, I don't know how much I can say about things. I did this project recently with one of the characters who, the character is Zac Efron. So the guy is playing Zac Efron. And I think just like this moment of, I was playing a thug. So like I'm supposed to be this hard thug. And my boss kind of is asking like who this guy was, trying to figure out who this guy was. And I don't know if it was written or not, but he was like, well, like, was he hot? Was he attractive? And like all of a sudden, like I'm this thug being like, well, yeah, he was. I mean, he was cute. He was a good looking guy. And like I heard the director laughing, and we're just like we're in this scene, and I like forgot my lines at this point. We're just playing in this scene of me like
Yeah.
kind of like coming out like, yeah, no, he's a good looking guy. Like but I'm like this hard thug. I don't know. It was a very funny moment for this character to be like, well, yeah, no, he was very attractive. So I think it's the space to find that creative freedom and those moments is what makes the days fun. So that was a very silly moment, but very fun to have on camera.
And I would have like it would have been funny seeing your reaction to such a like Not like a line that wasn't
I'm
expected.
like a thug. Like, yeah, no, he was what? Yeah, no, he was cute. He was a good looking guy. I don't know. Like, yeah,
I
it was
love
crazy.
that. Oh, I love that. Okay, last question. If you could go back and relive a single day in your career, which day would you pick?
Super Bowl. It was the best day ever.
Mm.
That's crazy. Being in Miami, I was there for 4 weeks pre-production, and I got to hire some of my friends like from college because I had some friends that lived in
Mm.
Florida. So I hired them as PAs and just to be on set, and like it was the Super Bowl. I mean, people talk about their Super Bowl. That was my Super Bowl. Like
Yeah.
it was insane. The amount of money we got to play with. And I mean, part of my job, I was basically like a line producer on the Super Bowl. It's
Mhm.
called a crew manager in broadcast, but it definitely is a line producer if it was on if it was more screen acting or narrative based. But I was in charge of a lot of money, and it was like this is crazy. It was insane. The amount of money we spent on things is insane. The amount of money we made on the Super Bowl is insane. I mean, just truly like the whole thing was crazy, and COVID was happening kind of right in that moment as well. I think it broke out like days after the Super Bowl, so like it was just the last hurrah of the life before COVID, the life before lockdown, and it. I will never forget that time in Miami. That was awesome.
Yeah, I love the impact that it had on you because I'm in Australia. We don't have the Super Bowl. Or we see it, but
Sure,
like it just doesn't give me that same like wow factor as it does for people that are like involved in it or are there.
of
But I
course.
can see it on your face how like amazing that was. So
Thank you. I do want to say thanks to Fox Sports, Mike Davies, Stacey Sunny, John Stapleton, Camille Redmond. Those were the people that brought me in and were involved in that. And I mean, they made my career. So I really appreciate all of them.
that's amazing, amazing. Well, thank you so much for taking the time on your day off to speak with me.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
You're so awesome.
Thank you. All right. Well, you enjoy the rest of your day and I'll talk to you again very soon.
Sounds great. Cheers.
Thanks.